I'm Corbitt with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, October the 16th, brought to you in part by VITALIX. Not all tubs are created equal, and VITALIX has 44 different varieties to fit your needs. Stretch your profits with every single lick. VITALIX wants feeder flash gang members to have a chance to win free tubs. If you're watching this video on NationalBeefWire, just look to the ad that's right there, right next to this video that's playing, and click on that picture, VITALIX ad picture, and it will give you information on how you can register to win. If you're watching this on YouTube, go down into the descriptions and click on VITALIX there, and it will take you to more directions on how you can enter to win. Get the blue tub. Your cows will love you. For more information, go to vitalix.com. Afraid to look, and that's the kind of way it is whenever you have sticker shock. And I'm not talking about consumers having sticker shock of beef and things like that. It may come to that, but that's not what I'm talking about on this feeder flash. I'm talking about these guys that are wanting calves, and they're calling their order buyers saying, get me some calves. And you have to watch what you say this time. Don't just say get them and forget to give them a budget. Or maybe that's what you have to do to get some of them bought. But because the next week, the calves you bought this week will be cheap, or look cheap on paper, I guess, anyway. But people are just afraid to look at what they're going to cost. And you sure don't want to dollar them up by the head, or it will scare you. Also, your packers, they haven't got anything stirred up this week other than the fat cattle auctions up in the northern plains and the Midwest, and there's been good runs in those fat cattle auctions up there, but we haven't seen anything on a direct basis, and we haven't even seen any bids really or asking prices. And I think the packers are afraid to look. They don't want to ask these guys what they're wanting for their cattle, because they're going to have to say, oh my God, there's no way you're going to get that, knowing full well that they might. I tell you what, it's just a scary price thing, but you guys know how that is. I'm going to be having to get me a new vehicle here before long, and I want to get online and look and see what kind of deal I want to get bought, but I'm afraid to look at what it's going to cost. I haven't bought a vehicle for myself. My kids, my girls all drive new vehicles, but I haven't checked it for myself in a long time, about 13 years. So, but going to have to get something done here. But I tell you what, these cattle are just costing so much. It's taking so much money. Your bankers don't want to look. I mean, you come back in with your check for the calves you sold. The bankers are really happy. You're being able to pay your loan back, your operating loan back, maybe some principal on another loan you had. It's not like sometimes when you come in and you come up short and all you can do is pretty much pay your interest off and then kind of re-up. But they're proud of you when you come in there with that check and get everything caught up. But are they prepared to give you the amount of money you're going to need to keep going? And especially backgrounders and for cattle feeders, I mean, they're going to have to do that. Cow-calf producers can usually pretty much go on with the cows they have, and they're making really good money. Your cow-calf producers have, and by God, it's time, it's their turn, and thank goodness that they are making such good money on these calves they're selling, and they deserve it, absolutely. But a lot of your backgrounders and even more of your cattle feeders, they think this high market's great, but they haven't made any money because they were hedged with a foolproof hedge there with the board, and they've done nothing but make margin calls. And this big rally we've seen over the last several months, it hasn't done anything to them but make them where they have to wire money every few days to Chicago to keep their hedges going, and then we've seen it even here lately on this these cattle at this rally that we've been in here just for the last couple of weeks after the market's settled in for a little bit. Now it's shot up again, and these guys are still in that trap that they've been in for so long. But I tell you what, it just takes a lot of money to be a cowboy these days, guys. If you want to get into the cattle business, it's not for the meek. It takes a lot of money there. We haven't seen, it's normal kind of fall weather, but we haven't seen the extremes yet, and we're halfway through October. It's still hot in most places, and we did get a little bit of wintry weather way up in the northern plains there, just spotty, but we haven't as of yet seen the really cold temperatures back to the really hot temperatures, and to and fro all through the midsection of the country like we do many times. And I think before the end of October we will. And there's some people that's having some sickness. A lot of people you hear are getting along really good with the fresh calves, fresh right off the cow. You don't want to let them calves hang around long. If you're going to sell them unweaned, take them off the night before or that morning that you sell them. Don't let them stand around and get anxiety about being away from their mothers before you put them into the stress of moving them. Try to get it done all at once there, where those cattle are hitting the ring freshly unweaned, where the buyers that get them have a chance at least to get them settled in and get the shots that they want to get in them before they break. But a lot of guys are getting along really good. A lot of guys are having mixed luck with cattle handled exactly the same way. Some that were fresh weaned there and had some shots, and they take them home, don't have any trouble with them much at all. Of course, they're using Therapies on them, and the cattle are calming down, and they're eating, and they're not having a lot of trouble. And then they get some cattle off another ranch, been handled the same way, fresh weaned, come in there, and they take them home and treat them the same way, and they break, and they have all kinds of trouble with them. There's just no way to know, guys. It has so much to do with the environment and everything that they get exposed to that it's hard to know the best way to treat them. But sitting there putting cattle together, 2 or 3 at a time, little bitty deals with a mixture of different times of weaning and cattle that's been exposed to a lot of different other cattle. They come in there, and I tell you what, you've got to know what you're doing to keep those things alive. It's just tough. And if you're ordering cattle out of the southeast or even central and south Texas, those cattle are largely just bought one at a time. That's the way it has to be. And you better know what you're doing if you're going to order some of those up. Now, you're going to get them cheaper than strings or ranch calves, significantly cheaper, but you're going to need that by the time it all gets sorted out. We're able to put cheap weight on these calves, and tell you what, the basis on this corn, and corn just sitting 416 bushel there, and these basis levels up in the corn belt are running 40 to 50 cents under that for cash corn. Now that's getting pretty cheap, and the cost of gains are really cheap, especially for those farmers that have storage on the farm. They're feeding their own grain, doing the work themselves. They can really put it on cheap, and you're seeing it, because that's the only way any of these cattle would really work, is if they were really getting cheap cost of gains, and they are. I want to tell you about, and I'm jumping the gun a little bit here. It was pretty fresh news to me on Wednesday night, but I hate not to acknowledge it. A good friend of mine, Quentin Harper, passed on Wednesday evening, and tell you what, I enjoyed Quentin. He was a good guy. He had a great sense of humor. I was around him a lot there in Beaver County stockyards and other places. I auctioneered with him there. Tell you what, he's a cattleman, order buyer, rancher there. Was a good roper. Come from Groover, Texas, and I really have to send condolences out to his kids, because he absolutely loved his kids. And October live cattle futures up 35 cents at 242.17. December up 27 at 246.77. Your back months on live cattle down 17 to up 22. So basically just the board took a break on Wednesday, didn't do a whole lot else, but apparently seems pretty happy about the levels that it's reached. Feeder cattle for October down 45 cents at 379.72. November down 65 cents at 380.67. Your back months on feeder cattle also mixed down 32 cents to up 12. So just kind of took a day off. Your corn, new crop corn futures there for December up 3 3/4 cents at 416 3/4. Soybeans for November unchanged at 10.06 1/2. And hard red winter wheat for December down 1/4 cent a bushel at 488 1/4. We still haven't traded any cattle negotiated out of your major trade areas there. I tell you what, and that just makes us think that it's even going to be more higher. I told you on our last visit, I think we have a chance to gain $8 or $10 this week. I think we could, and that kind of thing never happens, but it absolutely could. I'll tell you what, this negative basis, these cattle feeders are feeling emboldened. They know that these packers have to have some cattle to get going next week, and they're gonna play hardball. And I tell you what, they're gonna gain a bunch. And if you guys got cattle to sell, get with them and hold out. There's nothing worse than a weak sister whenever you're looking at gaining a bunch of ground in your fed cattle market. We did have some fed cattle auctions with some size to them. I tell you what, guys are bringing those heavy cattle in, and other cattle too this week. We saw a good run at Yankton on Tuesday. On Wednesday, Sioux Falls Regional Livestock sold 1,600 head of slaughter cattle there. The market was $5 to $7 higher. Conventional fed cattle sell from $234 to $241.75. Program cattle at Worthing, South Dakota sell from $238 to $246.50. They had beef dairy cross steers selling from $231 1/2 to $237. Glacial Lakes Livestock in Watertown, South Dakota had a good run for them too. 1,100 head of slaughter cattle. So big runs in your fed cattle auctions. $2 to $4 higher on fed cattle. Your conventional fed cattle in Watertown bring from $230 to $239. Program cattle from $239 to $246. They had Holstein steers, fed Holstein steers from $205 to $225. And big fat fed cows from $175 to $188. Box beef cutout values were mixed, but it's all about the choice. And choice was up 206. That's a pretty good gain there at 366.48 on Wednesday afternoon. Your selects were actually down 139 at 349.16. Your slaughter through the first 3 days of the week, estimated cattle slaughter was 348,000. That's 13,000 more than last week. And these packers are kind of acting like they need some beef. They're getting with it a little bit there. But that 348,000 was still 21,000 less than the same week a year ago. I want to tell you about Kemin. BRD costs this industry millions and millions of dollars, guys. Clostat is a feed technology from Kemin that fends off pathogens, creating a healthy environment for your cattle and their immune system and their digestive system. Check them out, guys, at kemin.com/beef. Also, Valley Grande Ranch Feeders there. And that's way up in northern South Dakota. It's just a little bit south of Hettinger, North Dakota. But Valley Grande, I think it's Lodgepole, South Dakota is their address. That is family owned and operated since 1965. I got to tour that outfit a couple of weeks ago. I was very impressed. They were top quality facilities, modern, built right. You're not going to see another growing yard, feed yard type outfit right there with as much protection from the weather. They don't have more ways to get snow removal handled in a quick way. They've got tons of feed around, all you'd ever need, all the room you'd need, the most modern facilities to process your cattle with the least amount of stress on them, guys. But they want your balling calves. That's what they do, and they're professionals out. Get your balling calves weaned and put weight on them for less than 80 cents a pound. Where else can you do that? You can't do that yourself. So, let them do it. They've got, they can give them all their shots, give them all their boosters on time and meticulously proper. That's just the way they do things there, guys. For more information about Valley Grande Ranch feeders there, go to Archbro, that's for Archibald Brothers, archbro.com. Let's talk about your feeder cattle market. Brought to you by Specialty Risk Insurance. They're working to protect your livelihood. Your real-time index based on an 800-pound cash auction steer there at the conclusion of your Wednesday sales was sitting at $374.23. That was up another $1.26 compared to late Tuesday there, and very similar to your cash CME feeder cattle index, which was sitting at $374.47. Now you guys know we've had a big push to add new broadcasting sale barns to our family of broadcasters at DVAuction here, and we've gained a bunch just here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. We're going to be pushing to do several more here before we get into our spring bull sales. Well, everybody will be busy doing that, but we've got here several weeks to get you in if you want to get that done. Tell you what, it's very, very affordable. We'll come hook you up, include all of your equipment that you need. That includes travel for installation and training and everything you'd need for $1,000, and then it's just $350 a month after that. There's no kind of promotion or advertising you can buy that is as cheap as that, and it exposes you to the National Beef Wire posts that you see on social media everywhere. These sale barns all over the country, which are breaking new all-time record highs. It gives you a professional kind of a press release there that we put together, and that happens automatically from us. It includes a National Beef Wire TV, which is the market screen. You see a lot of these sale barns that are DV broadcasters that is very professional, and people love to look at it. And it's got scrolls of the highest cattle that's sold all over the country, both calves and yearlings, and you get your market broadcasted there too, guys. But get a hold of us at DVAuction if you're interested in doing that. Talk about your feeder cattle market on Wednesday. Of course, OKC West El Reno Livestock Market in El Reno, Oklahoma. They're a DVAuction broadcaster. They had 6,200 head. Check out these trends, and all of your Oklahoma trends have been sharply higher like this. Feeder steers sold $6 to $12 higher. Feeder heifers were $5 to $8 higher. Your stocker type heifers weighing under 7.5, but yearling types selling $11 to $15 higher. Steer calves selling $10 to $20 higher, with spots $30 higher. Heifer calves selling $15 to $25 higher, with spots $40 higher. It was just a humdinger there at El Reno, Oklahoma. Every single class of cattle just sharply higher. The most impressive quote that I saw come out of El Reno on Wednesday was 56 steers weighed 701 and bring 411. That's a humdinger, guys. How about some other sales? Another sale I was talking about all week up to now. Faith Livestock Auction in Faith, South Dakota had their Charolais calf influenced special. Charolais calves were predominant there. They had 3,900 for that calf special, and no comparison because it was a standalone sale there. But It was your Superior Steel Sales, home of Superior Standard Livestock Equipment, stick out sale of the day. Check out this automated market report through Cattle Market Central, and you see your best tested weights, and just like I said, it's all calves. 366 head of 4-weight steer calves, average 450 pounds with a weighted average price of $569.44. 1,083 head of 5-weight steers, average 553 at $497.21. 457 head of Charolais influenced 6-weight steers, average 637 in Faith, South Dakota, with a weighted average price of $446.44. Look at your heifers. There were 407 head of the 4-weight heifers there, 458 pounds on the average and $501.76 on the weighted average price. 801 head of the 5-weight heifer calves, average 545 at $445.77, and 277 head of 6-weight heifer calves there, Charolais influenced from Faith, South Dakota, had an average weight of 638, weighted average price of $400.85. The most impressive quote I saw come out of that special sale at Faith, and you don't get any market reporting out of Faith unless they do it. They're not reported by federal government or state government there. I'm not sure why. They're one of the biggest sales in the state. But 131 Charolais influenced light steer calves weighed 426, brings $600 smooth. Dollar those up, guys. How about some other markets quotes around that were very impressive? How about Bloomfield Livestock Market in Bloomfield, Iowa? Just got word that we're going to be hooking them up with DVAuction here within the next couple of weeks. So glad to have the Schooley family on board there, like all those folks. How about 4 loads? I had 4 separate loads of these steers. They weighed just over 900 pounds. They were in the extreme heavy 8s and light 9s, averaged just over 900 pounds at $368. That's a heck of a price there. How about Parsons, Kansas? Parsons Livestock Auction. Hadn't been too long since we hooked Parsons up there, DVAuction broadcaster. 61 head, 737 pounds at $400.50, weighing nearly 7.5, guys. Big time quote. Buffalo, we just took them up a few weeks ago. Buffalo, Wyoming, Buffalo Livestock Marketing, another DVAuction barn there. 108 steers weighed 514 at $539.50. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday in your auctions and your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Bassett Livestock Auction in Bassett, Nebraska, another DVAuction broadcaster there. They sold 229 steers, weighed 984, just 16 pounds from a grand there, guys, at $372.50. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.